Okay, we have B06.3, write equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. We got some vocab words, parallel and perpendicular. Okay, parallel. Two lines in the same plane that never intersect. Okay, so when we're thinking of parallel, let's take a look, right? Let's graph these guys. So we should know how to graph these. Alright, so graph using slope intercept is B05.4. So if you forgot how to graph, take a look at that lesson. We'll start with this blue guy first. So we have our y-intercept. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the negative direction, and then we do our slope is 2. So rise over run, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Right, and then we have this line, and then we'll do this one in pink. We start with the y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4, and same slope is 2, so up 1 over 2. Remember, we can tell if it's positive. Our m is positive, so right, our slope should be positive, right? Because we have positive, negative, 0, and undefined. So our line should look like that, a positive slope. Okay, so if we look at these, right, they're never intersecting. They're never going to cross. It's sort of like a railroad track, right? Train track. So we're going to put in here, this is really important. We say two lines are parallel, and the symbol for parallel is going to be, I don't want to put it there, is right there, right? That's it. Symbol for parallel. So two lines are parallel if and only if their slopes are the same. Right? This is really important, which is why it's in red marker. Okay, so let's look at an example. Write an equation of the line that passes through the point 4, 7 and is parallel to the line y equals 5x minus 3. Okay, so we know that this is our xy, and we know that it's parallel, right? So our steps for finding the equation of a line is 1, we need the slope, 2, we need the y-intercept, and 3, put in y equals mx plus b. So 1, we know that the slope is parallel, so it needs to be the same as this, so it's going to be 5. We need to find our y-intercept. So we know we have a point, right? We have 4, 7, and we have the slope. So in order to find b, we need to plug it in and then solve for b. So this is called find b given the slope and a point. So we've actually done this before. This was in the lesson right before this, B06.2. So if you're having trouble with this second step right here, finding the y-intercept, take a look back at this video and maybe it'll help you. Okay, so we have y equals mx plus b. We have y is 7. We have m is 5. We have x is 4 plus b. 7 equals 20 plus b. We're going to minus 20 from both sides. We get b equals negative 13. And now we have our equation y equals 5x minus 13. Again, if this was confusing to you, take a look at this video. Okay, perpendicular. So let's graph these again. So we have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our slope is negative 2. So we're going down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And make sure you don't get confused with the slope, right? We have our 4 lines, positive, negative, 0, undefined. We know that it's negative, so it should look like this. Don't get confused with the 2 and make it go up like in the first example, right? So we have a negative slope. It should be going down 2 over 1. All right, and then let's do this line. We start with our y-intercept. This one, rise over 1 is 1 over 2. So up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Find the pattern. Connect the dots. And if we look at these lines, right, they cross, right? And this is perpendicular. So we're going to, right, this is the symbol for perpendicular. Ooh, very long word. Sometimes you'll put a little box right there to show the right angle. So we're going to say two lines are, let's see if I can fit it in here, perpendicular if and only if their slopes are negative reciprocals. Right? And this is a vocab term. Okay, what does that mean, right? We look at these slopes. This is -2, and this is 1/2. So they're actually negative reciprocals of each other. So I'm just going to go over to this side, and we're going to do a little practice. So we have negative reciprocal practice. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, -4, -3, 1/2, 2/3, -4 over 5, -3 over 2, -1 over 6. Okay, so to take a negative reciprocal, we flip it and we make it negative, right? So when we have a whole number, right, 1 is the same thing as 1 over 1. So if we flip it, it's still 1 over 1. We just have to make it negative. So it goes to -1. This is the same thing as 2 over 1. So if we flip it, it goes to 1/2. So, and then we make it negative. Right? Similarly to 3, it's 3 over 1. So we take the reciprocal is 1/3, and then we make it negative. So it's -1/3. This one, it's already negative. So when we make it negative, it goes positive. So this is going to be 1/4. This one's going to be 1/3. All right, so when we're given a fraction, then we flip it, right? So 1/2, and it's 1 over 2. We switch it to 2 over 1. That's the same thing as 2, and we make it negative. So -2. This one, we flip it, 3 over 2, and then we make it negative. This one, we flip it, and it is negative, so we make it positive. This one, 2 over 3. Oh, it is negative, so we make it positive. And then finally, this one goes 6 over 1, which is the same thing as 6. So this is just some practice of negative reciprocal. You need to be able to do this very quickly. So let's look at an example. Okay, write an equation of the line that passes through 6, -1, and is perpendicular to y equals 3x plus 2. So when we need to write an equation of the line, we have 3 steps, right? We need our slope, we need our y-intercept, and we need to put in slope-intercept form, right? And again, this is in previous lessons, so we know our slope. Our slope is, we have this line, but it's perpendicular. So we need to take the slope, and we need to take the negative reciprocal. So neg reciprocal of 3 is -1/3. And then to find our y-intercept, we're going to use our points with x and y. So again, if you don't remember, that's from lesson B06.2. So we take y equals mx plus b. We have -1 equals -1/3 6 plus b. -1 equals -2 plus b. We add 2 to both sides. We get 1 equals b. And then 1 equals -1/3 x plus 1. And that's it. So not so bad. The biggest thing is just remembering parallel versus perpendicular and remembering how to find this b. Alright, let's take a look at the back. Okay. Determine which of the following lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular. So we don't really need to know anything but the slope. So a lot of this stuff in the problem is extra to confuse you, but all we need to do is slope, right? So let's take the slope for each one. So this one's already in slope-intercept form, so we know the slope is -2. Line B is not in slope-intercept form, so we need to solve for y, right? So both of these actually, spoiler alert. Solve for y because they're not in slope-intercept form already, right? And this, what lesson was this? This was B4.4. So if you don't remember how to do this, take a look back at that video because we learned it. Okay, so let's look at B first. Line B is 2y minus x equals 3. We're going to move the x to the other side. We get 2y equals 3 plus x. And then we divide everything by 2. So we get y equals 3 over 2 plus 1/2 x. So if we want to put this in slope-intercept form, we get y equals 1/2 x plus 3 over 2. And this is the slope. That's the only thing that matters. We have 1/2. And then for line C, we have 2x plus y equals 1. We need to minus the 2x from both sides. We get y equals 1 minus 2x. Even though it's not in slope, even though the x term isn't first, we know that this is our slope. So these are our three slopes. So if we look, right, these two are the same. A and C are the same. So we could say A is parallel to C, right? This is a symbol for parallel. This is the shorthand. So shorthand just means you can write it quicker. And then if we look A and B, this is the negative reciprocal, right? So we say A is parallel to B. And then if we look in B and C, they're negative reciprocals. So we say B is parallel to C. All right, last example. I'd like you to pause the video and try this and then check and see if you got it right. Okay, so we are looking for perpendicular to this equation, and this is not in slope-intercept, so we have to put it in slope-intercept first. So we have 4y plus 2x equals 12. We minus 2x because we're trying to get y by itself, right? Y is a loner. Y doesn't want to be by anybody, so 2x is going to go away. Negative 2x plus 12. I just put the 2x in front so that it looks more like slope-intercept form. And then y still isn't alone enough, right? He still needs to get rid of this 4, so we divide everything by 4. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3. All right, so this is our, right? So we did all this work just so we could figure out the slope, right? So we know that the slope is negative 1/2, and we need to be perpendicular, right? So our slope, we know is negative reciprocal of that, which is 2. We need the y-intercept. So we're going to use the point that they gave us. So we have y equals 2x plus b, right? We don't know b, but we do know m. We're going to plug in these points. Negative 1 equals 2, 8 plus b. Negative 1 equals 16 plus b. We need to solve for b, so we minus 16 on both sides. Negative 17 equals b. And then 3, we put it all together. Y equals 2x minus 17, right? So find the equation of the line that's perpendicular to this line and goes through this point. So we use this to find our slope. We use this and this to find our b, and then we gave our final equation. So you can see all the lessons that we've been learning so far are coming in together for questions like these. All right, so hopefully that's it. Definitely make sure you understand negative reciprocal. If you don't, go through this again. You can email me. You could look at the vocab words and make sure you get this practice done.